You open this door with the key of reason. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of truth. A dimension of freedom. A dimension of joy. You're moving into the land of both the ideal and the real, of the possible and the actual. You've just crossed over into the Capitalist Corner.
Where reason meets reality, welcome to the Capitalist Corner.
Welcome, everybody, to the Capitalist Corner. I'm your host, Mark Pellegrino, and the chairman of the American Capitalist Party, along with my co-host and the vice chair of the American Capitalist Party, Michael Leibowitz, who also has a plethora of his own shows going on: Rational Egoist, Everyday Ethics, a great show on Saturdays, which I hope you're all seeing because we have a great time doing it. Michael, what's going on now with all of these crazy shows that you're doing?
Well, it's Everyday Ethics. I need a topic, so I really hope someone gives me a topic for today. But we got good stuff going on. I still got the episode with Jim Valiant on Friday. I'm hoping to release. Well, Friday, you and I have an economist coming on here, Van Skin.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit. Talk about who this cat is and why people should be interested in tuning in.
This what?
This cat. I said this cat. Who this
what
cat
are we
is.
in 1970s blaxploitation films? What the hell with the cat?
Hey, that's all right. It's cool language. It's cool lingo.
All right, Daddy-O. So Van Skin is an economist. I've interviewed him. He's had me on his show. We've covered an article on here that he wrote about 20 economic ideas everybody needs to know. Should be a great discussion with him. Very bright guy. Now I forgot what the hell I was talking about. Oh, I got the episode with Jim Valiant. I got some episodes of Rational Egoist coming out. But really, I had a great debate last night where I kind of, I decided, well, the guy's a dick, so I'm going to dick right back. And when I want to be a dick, I can, I'm pretty quick at being a dick to make a rhyme. I don't like
this should be the title of a new shirt.
These guys, being a dick. And we had it was cordial afterwards, but he's one of these guys that likes to get boisterous and tough. And I just told him, dude, like
the paleo conservative guy, the paleo Christian guy.
Yeah, I told him see, but this guy couldn't control the mic. So I told him, I said, listen, dude, with the tough guy act's not going to work with me, especially not with your Amish haircut. In your suspenders, come on, let's move on.
Oh, now I got to see it. Now I got to.
Oh yeah, there was a lot. I told him, I said, dude, like this stick you got going, it's going nowhere. You're not intimidating me. I don't care. So, but overall, it was a boisterous debate. But
how long did it last?
I think about 90 minutes for the debate, and then going over the questions afterwards.
Okay, so a lot of people tuned in, so a lot of people asked questions, but I'm sure there's people who didn't tune in. You gotta watch this thing. I'm going to watch it on my way to jiu-jitsu after this. Who do you think won, Michael?
That's what I want to know from the audience that's here that have watched today. So why don't you do me a favor? You share the episode, because when that happens, more folks come in. And
it's already done. It's already done.
Because I screwed up today and I didn't. Chandler got drunk on the show. I didn't share from YouTube today like I normally do. I screwed up. It's
all right. I'm used to it.
You're not used to it. That's a lie.
That's the title of your biography. Look, the more you hang out with me, the more Pellegrinos you pull. So let's just consider.
No.
Let's just consider this.
Listen, I have not pulled one Pellegrino. I will not pull any. No.
You just did.
No,
you didn't share it from YouTube. You did a Pellegrino.
I didn't do a Pellegrino. I didn't pull a Pellegrino.
Right.
None
I'm
of that.
all right with self-effacing humor, folks. Pride does not mean that you can't have a sense of humor.
Pride goeth before the fall. Sheldon Richmond made a funny joke that I shared. He did it today on what the hell is this here? Oh, okay. He said, "What did we do to offend Yahweh to get us Trump or to deserve Trump or something?" I thought it was great.
That certainly is a question worth asking. Persephone says, that sounds pretty Dr. Seuss, quick to be a dick. It does sound pretty Dr. Seuss, and maybe perhaps we could, morph a Dr. Seuss character in there so we don't violate any copyright issues, have a Dr. Seuss-like character in there saying it, but it looks sort of like Michael. It'd be like a Michael from Whoville type of thing with quick to be a dick.
What I want to know is
Pellegrino
this.
Dong dictator theory, by the way.
I now everything got screwed up on my phone. Chandler watched the debate. I need Chandler to give us a comment on the hairdo and the suspenders of my opponent. Chandler.
So I am still interested, though, folks, in your opinion. I don't know that you gave it in the chat last time. Do you think that penis size has to do with somebody's attempt, with somebody's authoritarian personality? Like, so I guess it would work in the inverse. The smaller the penis, the larger the authoritarian personality.
Why are you talking about dicks again?
The smaller the authoritarian personality. So, because I want to see if this is a real thing. I want to see if people actually think this may be something that we should deal with. Because
it's not what we deal with.
I think, Mike, you don't even have to worry about ideology, ideas, or concepts anymore. All you got to do with these politicians coming in the door is they need a medical check. And if they have a micro penis, they have to be immediately rejected.
I sincerely hope you're not volunteering to give the check.
I will not volunteer to give the check, no.
Okay. I need to tell you something that's very, very important. This is especially important because of the character you played and are very famous for. Right now, our YouTube channel has 666 subscribers.
Nice. I mean, I wanted to go further, folks, but maybe somebody should take a picture of that, freeze it in time for us, so we can always preserve that beautiful number for everybody. Folks, I don't have to say the disclaimer anymore because it's written in very tiny words now, so nobody can sue us for actually saying something that is not exactly in sync with the Capitalist Party platform. Michael, we got a lot to talk about today. So I think we should get on with it, you know?
I've been trying to, but you're obsessed with penis, so we had to cover that for a few minutes.
No, I'm just a theory of mine that I think it probably works. I think we should test it out scientifically. There's got to be somebody out there who's probably done it for dad's sake.
Nobody's done that.
My friend, if you've read some of the money that the federal government wastes on testing like chimpanzees and animal responses, then I'm sure there's somebody out there who said, I wonder what the personality of a person is with a micro penis, if it tends to be more authoritarian than somebody who's normal or say more than normally endowed.
This is going downhill quick. Okay, we got serious stuff.
I'm trying to get off this topic and on to something
We
else.
have super chats and super stickers if everybody hasn't lost interest in donating to the penis show.
There's no possible way they could lose interest in this because it's a fascinating topic. I think everybody here should be thinking, I wonder if this is true. Yeah, but please remember to give super stickers and super chats. Remember to like and subscribe to the station too, because not this particular message that we're giving out now, but the message of individual liberty needs to get out there in the world. So, Michael, it seems like
we got a super chat now. A question.
Thank you very much, Jenna.
What's the question? What did LBJ call this? I have no idea.
By the way, LBJ used to expose himself publicly to people all the time, and he used to ask for notes while he was sitting on the toilet. These are things
that you're obsessed with. Okay.
No, these are things that people should know about our presidents. If they think they are supposed to be the epitome of humanity, you know, they're not. They're usually the dregs.
I'm too hot in this Snuggie. I may have to remove it.
Okay. So Michael, you know, the title of our show today is Trump Won't Let Go. What do you mean by that, Michael?
Okay, I'll tell you in a second. You just talk. I can't with this thing.
All this talk about penises is now he's got to get in his wife beater. So Michael, the title of one of the titles here is Trump Won't Let Go. What do you mean by that?
What I mean is that the official White House website is, I guess for January 6th, is out there. It's all about how the election in 2020 was stolen from Trump, how January 6th wasn't riots, wasn't an insurrection. They were just patriots. It was all caused by Democrats and lawfare against Trump afterwards. Listen, we are at DEF CON whatever right now, the highest one. if people don't see what's going on at this point, as we're going to get to some of the other things later on about, Greenland and whatnot, this is a demented human being that we have at the helm. Demented. And it's dangerous. It's scary. And it's time that people stop pretending that this is just normal stuff for a politician to do. It's not. Yes, they all lie. Yes, they all want more power. Yes, they all infringe our rights. But no president that I've ever seen has used official government websites to lay out his grievances, to misrepresent reality to this degree. No president has ever talked about attacking NATO allies. This is scary stuff, and it needs to be taken seriously. And I'm over people defending it. Over it.
It's unbelievable to me that people defend it, Michael. It's already been proven that pretty much every allegation they've made was false, and yet they still make it. It's as if you batter the people with the same lie over and over and over again. Eventually, they become worn down, and and people start to just believe it because it's prevalent. It's out there. It's the thing they most hear. Taking a playbook straight from the left, by the way, I might add. So yeah, he's not letting go of the fact that the 2020 election was rigged, even though that is not the case. Wait, what does it say? Can you read
this? This is from the intellectual philosopher, former prosecutor, author, lecturer, 155 IQ, James Stephen Valiant, has asked AI about the psychological impact of penis size. And
yes,
there's significant evidence. Go ahead, read. You can read
that concerns about penis have substantial psychological effects, leading to anxiety and depression, which then leads to probably an authoritarian bent, which then leads them to run for Congress and become a part of the parasitical political class. It's just a theory, folks. I'm advancing it, but I think if we were to do a wellness check on pretty much everybody in Congress, except for the few people who aren't really power lusters out there, including the president himself, I think we would not be too surprised at what we found there.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, so there's a couple things here. First of all, Trump is lying. But secondly, the fact that he can't let this go, he can't let it go, should tell people everything they need to know. But they're out there, MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. And, it's TDS if you criticize him. Listen, if he were a private citizen saying this, I couldn't care less. He could go on and do whatever the hell he wants, be demented in his own little corner and talk about how wonderful he is all day. I don't care. He's the president of the United States.
Which means what, Michael? He's not a normal
No.
He's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the strongest army in the world. And he's clearly not embarrassed to use it anywhere he pleases.
Look at this. Just saying.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Okay. I'm good, man. I'm fine. Thank you for that, though. It was my morning coffee. Look, yeah, and he's not embarrassed to use it anywhere he pleases, including potentially Greenland. Now, what do you think about this whole Greenland thing? A lot of people took.
I'm going to tell you, but we have a super chat from Gary.
A man who lives solely through others' opinions cannot let go of others believing he actually lost the election. That's true. That's very good, Gary. I like that formulation.
That is spot freaking on.
Spot on. And that's why a second-hander like Trump will never be happy. Ever be happy.
Now,
folks.
Let me just answer Kat. We're going to address the tank top situation now. What happened? So what happened was I was wearing my Snuggie. And it was too hot, and I realized I'm not going to sit here for an hour with a Snuggie on. I'd rather wear this and let the ladies ogle me, and I'm fine with that. So, but now you have to take all the women, you have to take your attention off of me and focus on the intellectual discussion that we're having. Okay,
there you go. So Greenland, when when Trump first started positing the idea that Greenland should be annexed to the United States, a lot of people didn't take him seriously. And then there was some serious chatter on the right where they said, well, actually, Greenland is going to become a very, very strategic place in the future because China wants it, Russia wants it. They're both sort of imposing themselves into Greenland because as a base of operations to get to America or to make it easier for their ICBMs or weapons of mass destruction to get to America. Somehow Greenland is supposedly allowing this. All we have is one little station out there, one little Space Force station out there, and what we need is more of a military presence. Now, I can understand Greenland becoming a strategic region for us at some point in the future, and a confrontation with two loser countries like Russia and China, which folks, we're being whipped up into a frenzy over Russia and China. They both suck. There's really nothing to worry about. If anything, Russia's been exposed as a paper tiger. All their weapons that were used, that were given to Iran, all failed. All their weapons fail. They are nothing and can be defeated in an instant by one Western semi-free power. You don't have to worry about them. We don't even know what China's all about yet, but I doubt tyranny can really affect enough technological advancement to become a threat to the United States. But that said, even if that were the case, and this does become a strategic area for the United States to want, are we going about it in the right way, Michael?
Well, no, but look, would it surprise you? So my boss has just joined the chat. Awesome. It's good that we've let go of the intellectual talk when my boss is here. But what the hell was I going to say now? I don't even remember. The thing is this, how long is it? Right? Would it surprise you if all of the sudden we heard talk about how Greenland is threatening us? Like it goes from, no, this is not serious, to, oh, well, maybe, but probably shouldn't do it. We'll talk to, well, it is a strategic place, to, we really need it. And then it'll be, they're actually threatening us. And this is a great idea. When I argued with people prior to the election about the claims that we were going to attack cartels in other countries, which is just a revving up of the war on drugs. When I brought that up, people said, oh, they're not really going to do that. Same thing. He's not serious. He's just a talker. Okay. I mean, I don't know what more you can say. Greenland belongs to a NATO ally, Denmark. And Trump is talking about taking it by force. That is insane. If we weren't the strongest country in the world, they would probably attack us. Like if we had a neighbor,
a preemptive strike.
If we had a neighbor that just invaded another country and deposed its leader, and that neighbor talked about attacking us next, we would likely attack them quick. This is not a joke. It's not funny. It's not smart. It's an 80-year-old lunatic, narcissistic sociopath at the helm whose ego feeds off this stuff. This is dangerous, folks. Dangerous.
This is actually dangerous. This is a bad move. I mean, he's running on good fumes right now, Michael, because people are generally in favor of what's happened in Venezuela, even though we're going to get into why what's going on is tainted and not as good as everybody says it's going to be. And he's running on the positive fumes of threatening Iran because there's a popular revolt going on there, and a monarchist revolt where they want to bring back the Shah. And so he's, I think, using this momentum in an attempt to push that further agenda where we have complete and total hegemony over the entirety of the Western Hemisphere, which includes Greenland and maybe even Canada. I mean, I'm sure Canada's a little bit nervous. When he went there the first time and started saying, you can become the 51st state, you be the governor of the 51st state, that irritated me. And I'm not even Canadian.
Well, you kind of are.
Well, my wife is Canadian, yeah, but I'm not. I reject Canadian.
You're always there.
I am, but I reject them. They just take a lot of my money, and that's part of the reason why I reject them. But the idea of encroaching on their sovereignty when they're basically a free state, more or less like America, is just it was such hubris, Michael. It was hubris.
He was complaining, by the way, in a Truth Social post either this morning or yesterday about not getting the Nobel Peace Prize and how he solved 8 wars. He saved so many lives. If it weren't for him, yeah, this guy's a sicko. I just saw a post that I find very interesting. It's from a conservative commentator, Jonathan Turley, but I've seen this a lot.
I like Jonathan Turley normally.
Well, I don't really know. I mean, I've seen a few of his posts, but Hillary Clinton went out there and wrongly stated I don't know, probably lied because Hillary Clinton's a liar. I've never liked her. I didn't like her husband. I don't want her president and would never want her. She said Trump told his followers to go attack Congress. That's not true. It's simply a lie. Okay. So the magosphere, they're all out there. Look at this. She's lying. She's lying. She's lying. Okay, she is. And it's definitely worth pointing out that a former Secretary of State, former senator, a wife of a former president is lying on social media about a current president. Worth pointing out. But excuse me, with the amount of time your orange idiot lies and you don't care and you excuse it, save it. Just save it. I'm all for calling them all out. They're like I said, I hated Trump so much when he was running in 2016.
Could you try again?
Yes, try it again, Michael.
No, screw her. But I still couldn't bring myself to support Hillary.
No, absolutely.
And I was happy she lost. I wasn't happy Trump won. I was happy she lost. That's how much I can't stand her. I'm all for calling out her lies and hypocrisy, but I'm all for calling out the lies and hypocrisy of all of them, including Persephone. No, Persephone doesn't have hypocrisy. Persephone's not lying. I have made up for this, though. Without the mustache and beard, she stopped looking at me over the last couple of days, but now that I'm rocking the tank top, she's just like this. So
I doubt it. If you could put her on, I think she's probably not doing that at all. She is doing that. She is doing that. Persephone.
I told you.
I can't believe what I just saw. Ian Gilmore had a question. He says, when you do an acting job in Canada, do you have to pay Canadian taxes? Yes, they take 23% off the top of the gross. 23%.
It's gross, all right.
It's gross, all right. And that means that over the 10 or 15 years that I've worked there consistently, I have paid for lots of people's free health care. Let's just put it that way. Not any health care for myself, but certainly for, I'd say, 1,000 or 2,000 people to have babies and whatever else they do over there for their health care. So, Michael, speaking of socialized stuff, let's get to the Venezuelan acting dictator, Delcy Rodriguez.
Yeah,
this is a girl, a woman that Trump wants to deal with because he says she's very gracious. I think he says that about every tyrant out there, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He says that about Kim Jong Un. He says that about Kim Jong Un.
Rhymes with dong.
Kim Jong. Okay, don't let me do it. He says it about the North Korean dictator. He says it about Putin. He says it about everybody who seems to have a penchant for dictatorship, murder, torture, imprisonment, unlawful imprisonment. He thinks they're great, and she's a gracious person. So that rather than, now that we have the military more or less controlling Venezuela, rather than bringing back the people who actually won the election and reestablishing democratic government, he wants to deal with this human being. Now, reading an article that you posted to me in Reason magazine. Why does it never come up anymore? What is going on here? Every time I tap it a second time, it doesn't want to come up. Oh, here we go. Let me just see if this is it. No, that's Cato.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Anyway, she's been the head of various organizations through the Chavez regime to the Maduro regime, basically intelligence services responsible for, tamping down on dissidents. This was her job. Her job was to take care of people who protested against the regime and to do what was necessary to get them out of there. This is a horrible, horrible human being who doesn't deserve to be the head of state at all. And in fact, she should be put on trial and probably executed for her crimes, since she's committed many of them. They need to be bringing back Machado. They need to be bringing back the people that won the democratic election there, and let democracy reign over there. What say you? I mean,
what I say is quite freaking simple. Is the Trump is a liar. You can't trust what he says. This woman that took over is a socialist. She's a thug and she's a tyrant, and he calls her gracious because she's going to do what he wants, evidently. These are all bad ideas. They're all not what the United States of America is supposed to be about. I really long for the days, Mark. I mean, honestly, when I used to watch the Sunday shows and just be livid about what the Democrats were saying every week, because that's what I used to do in prison. My Fox News Sunday This Week with George Stephanopoulos. I used to watch the Chris Matthews show, the McLaughlin Group, and I would get absolutely livid with what the left was saying, because it was clearly very socialistic, big government, envy of the rich, but it's like they're drowned out by Trump, because Trump takes all the oxygen out of the room, and it's because of stuff like this that he does so.
Also, Ian asked a question. Did you see the thing about Trump controlling oil proceeds?
Did I send you that, Mark?
Yeah, but Ian asked this question, so let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, I sent it to Jim Valiant last night, and then I sent it to you this morning. So this is the statement from the Donald. And again, the White House website has posted this. So this is not just the Truth Social guy. It's both got Truth Social post and the official White House thing. From the White House, President Donald J. Trump announces interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over between 30 and 50 million barrels of high-quality sanctioned oil to the United States of America. Okay. Donald J. Trump. So basically, you're invading a country to take its oil. That's I guess is okay now. This is what Trump says. I am pleased to announce that the interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over between 30 and 50 million barrels of high-quality sanctioned oil to the United States. This oil will be sold at its market price, and that money will be controlled by me.
I hate that.
As President of the United States of America, to ensure it is used to benefit the people of Venezuela and the United States, I have asked Energy Secretary Chris Wright
Michael,
to execute this plan immediately. So,
Michael, he spelled benefiting the Trump dynasty wrong, because he spelled it like it should benefit everybody, but he meant Trump dynasty.
He's going to control the oil, and yet they're still like trained seals. Come on, stop it. Stop.
Where is this written in the Constitution of the United States?
It's not. Can we just agree that by and large conservatism was just a ploy? Like it was phony, right? The whole small government.
Do you think the whole of conservatism from
not the whole of it? No, I'm not going to say the whole of it. I think there's people like George Will, Jonah Goldberg.
Yeah,
so no, not the whole of it, but the largest, the portions. Like Byron York is always out there defending Trump.
I know he's now a staple at Fox News. I mean, defending.
Yeah. So. I mean, it's just what happened to the Constitution. Now they're mocking it. I told you the other day, the host of the talk show here in Weatherfield, mocking people who are citing the Constitution. Constitution doesn't matter anymore. Nothing matters but the will of Trump. You know, when Nathaniel Branden talks about social metaphysics, do you remember this?
Yes.
So for those who don't know, social metaphysics is when people take the minds of other people as reality, as their source, rather than reality. Rather than looking at reality, they look to other people to validate them, to give them their source of information for truth, whatever. We have what now could be termed Trumpian metaphysics. They just look to him, and that's it.
Isn't that frightening?
It is. It is. And there's just no talking to these people. So I mean, what do you do? We just have to keep making these arguments, and hopefully, I mean, between all the people attracted to socialism and all the people attracted to Trump, we're
Michael, there
it's
is an
not good.
alternative. There is an alternative to this. There is an alternative to those who are attracted to socialism. There is an alternative to those who are just attracted to Trump. There's the American Capitalist Party. And if you want to go find out what the American Capitalist Party is about, go to americancapitalistparty.org and read the policies. They will be refreshing for you. You know, you guys have we've been sustained on a steady diet of tribalism for the past 12 years now. It's nauseating. You need a vitamin influx. You need some fresh stuff. You need diverse ideas out there. And so go to the americancapitalistparty.org and find out what those are. It'll be a refreshing change for you. Katie Ellis says he should not be allowed to control shit. I think he should be allowed to control shit.
I have not been getting fat. That's a lie. Subby's lying. I gained maybe 3 pounds over the holidays, and it's sustained. I'm 50 years old. I weigh 177 pounds, and my blood pressure is supreme. And come on.
Yes, Deeper with Diego says Mark has unintentionally paid for Canada's government's enforced assisted suicide program.
Why are you so far back in the chat?
Because I just came over from the private chat to
That's
the
like from yesterday.
Okay, it's not. It's not from yesterday. It's from today.
No, I said like from yesterday.
No, but it's not. It's like from today. So you also sent me an article from Reason Magazine entitled "Inspector General Report Finds Serious Failures Led to an Inmate Wasting Away from Treatable Cancer." Now, Michael, you've talked about how awful socialized medicine is in the prisons, and you gave one example of a guy who had bowel obstruction, and nobody would come to his assistance for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. He was turning green, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
The guy was practically dying, and what made them finally come to his assistance was vomiting feces.
Yeah.
Is what made them finally come to his assistance. Luckily, he made it, right? He was able to come out of that.
Luckily for me, yeah.
But in this case, a man was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, which, based on the craziness of the system over there and the terrible neglect and incompetence, he sort of languished in this system. He appealed for compassionate release. They finally gave it to him, right, Michael? They finally gave him compassionate release, but they made him pay for a plane ticket, and then by the time,
not only that, they dumped him on the curb at the airport.
Yeah, that's right. They dumped him at the airport in Dallas-Fort Worth Airport by himself. So he had to walk to the ticket terminal, leaking feces and blood the entire time, because that's how far along he was. And by the time he got to his home, he was basically a dead man walking. He was in hospice care. He was hours and hours away from death. So Michael, tell us about this. This is socialized medicine on crack. This is what people should get used to if they want socialized medicine brought to America. And you've seen this from the inside. So tell us about this.
Okay. So let me give you just a small example of what you deal with in prison. Okay, so I get cold sores sometimes, and there's a medication for that gets rid of them almost immediately. The medication has to be administered within 72 hours of your first symptoms, or it doesn't work. The way the prison system works is you have to put a request in the sick call box, and then they get to you when they get to you. It didn't matter how many times I tried to explain to these people that simply does not work, because it takes them 72 hours to get the request, and then who knows how long to get me down there. It didn't matter. That's over and over and over again. And by the way, ask anybody that's done prison time what their solution is to every problem, and they will tell you Motrin. And that's what the article cited, Motrin.
They
told
right.
This guy, take some Motrin.
Yeah.
That's their go-to, Motrin. You need Motrin. Here, we'll give you a pack of Motrin. Or they'll tell you to just buy it off the commissary because you can buy Advil. So that's what happens. Now, this is important. I want to put just points of it out. This guy was in prison for possession of child pornography. He's not a good guy, right? Mm-hmm. He was sentenced, I think they said, to 111 months, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Which he well deserved. But the bottom line is that's not supposed to be a death sentence. If you believe that he should be given a death sentence, well, then make that argument. But that's not what he was given, the death sentence. They could have saved his life likely with a colonoscopy that they scoffed about. When he asked
at that time he had stage 3 colon cancer.
Yes, they could have saved him. When he asked for a compassionate release, they said, well, we don't even know if he has cancer, let alone dying, but they knew. Finally, when it comes time, they agree to let him out, but they don't make any preparations. They just take him and dump him at the airport. He dies 9 days later. Now, people out there may say, well, this guy deserves it. Okay. Understand something, though. 95% of the prison population are getting out. And if you think that you can treat people this way and then have them released into society where they're going to be shunned, okay, that's what they deserve. But you are not going to get good results from that. I promise. People are not going to be treated that way and then be released and just say, you know what, I'm going to do the right thing. That's not going to happen. That's not the way human beings work. I don't care if it's a child molester, a serial killer, or whatever. But so people should be concerned about a couple of things here. One, this is a government agency and we can see how incompetent they are. That's the first thing. But then they go to lying and covering up as easy as they do breathing. And I promise this is not a unique situation. If you doubt what I'm saying, I just suggest you read my book and Brett McCall's book, Down the Rabbit Hole, How the Culture of Corrections Encourages Crime. The book has been positively reviewed by one of the top criminal psychologists in the world, the late Stanton Samanow, who was no bleeding heart liberal, and neither are we. This is bad stuff, and it's a perfect illustration of the problem with government. Rock gives us $2. I actually did want to address his question, but we got to this. He said he put a question. Thanks for the $2, Rock. He said, I put a question in the chat. Chat was too long.
I see it.
Okay. So let me back up and put it up here. We'll ask his question. When does the U.S. become a fraud? It betrays the Constitution and Bill of Rights. If rights are conditional and property negotiable, is best relative to other countries an excuse for decline. Rock, I'm going to get in trouble again. You're going to get me in trouble, Rock.
With whom?
With everybody.
How so?
Do I have to? Can I bring up the I word here?
Sure.
Okay. This is why Israel doesn't get my unconditional support. That's why I say, yes, Israel's morally superior to Hamas. Yes, Israel deserves our moral support, but I'm not going to pretend that Israel is some beacon of individual rights. Relative to the people around them, yes, Israel's a liberal democracy with a lot of freedoms, and it's a great upgrade historically to what the world has had, and certainly an upgrade to what's around them. But no, they are not a Lockean system that's representing Ayn Rand's system of rights. I got it. Nowhere is. And we have to applaud them, and we have to understand we're not at our ideal, and that's fine, but we can't pretend that it is either. The United States of America does a lot of bad stuff. And right now, we happen to elect a guy, or we didn't, I didn't, but people elected a guy. Well, let me back up just a little bit. The choices that we originally had were a senile old man who has been a inside baseball politician for 60 years almost now. Then he had to go, and we got in a socialist light liberal Democrat who couldn't really speak in complete sentences, running against a narcissistic sociopathic tyrant. The American people did that, right? We chose to do that. This United States Constitution and Declaration of Independence have been brushed aside. Whether I'd go so far as to call the United States of America a fraud, I wouldn't do that, and I'll tell you why in a second. But certainly, we are not some beacon of freedom. We're not some great capitalist country, and we certainly do not have the moral authority that I think Ayn Rand was talking about when she said a free country has the right to take out a dictator. I don't know that I shouldn't say we don't. I don't know that we still have that authority. What I will say is, and why I will still defend us and think we still are great, is the fact that Mark and I can come on this show every day and have these discussions and criticize the government and criticize the country. And you can ask the question that you're asking, puts us above the overwhelming majority of countries in the history of mankind. And that does still mean something. So that's my answer to you, Rock. When does it become a complete fraud? That I don't.
Probably when we're not able to do that anymore.
That's a good answer, Mark.
Well, I think Peikoff said it right. I mean, when free speech is done, when we can't come on and actually talk against the government anymore, when we aren't permitted to do that, that's the end, and that's when you have to pick up the pitchforks and the torches, folks, and storm the Bastille. So wait a minute, Chris here says, I mean, I'm all for free and open elections in Venezuela, but I'm opposed to any form of U.S. military force creating that outcome. Likely an effective regime change would require U.S. military presence. Do you agree with that?
I do. I think that Mark's point earlier was that we have the military presence anyway. They might as well be pushing for democracy rather than embracing a tyrant. Now, we shouldn't have the military there. We shouldn't have bombed them. We shouldn't have sent the military in. We shouldn't be bombing boats because they're alleging that they're carrying, drugs. The president shouldn't have lied and said that these boats in Venezuela are shipping fentanyl. They shouldn't have lied and said that Maduro's orchestrating Tren de Aragua to come to America and terrorize citizens. They shouldn't have lied and said that they're emptying their prisons and mental hospitals and sending everybody here. But that's what they've done. And now the point that we're at is where we've deposed their dictator. And at that point, it certainly would be better if we insisted that they institute democratic rule than just give a big hug to a tyrant.
This is from Rock. He says, I saw a lady get arrested the other day on live TV during a news interview. She got arrested for criticizing Trump. Is that true? Did you see this or did you know of this?
I didn't see it. I don't doubt it. H.L. Mencken. Can I give you a quote from H.L. Mencken? I think
anytime you have a quote from H.L. Mencken, it's
okay. This is a quote from H.L. Mencken. I don't endorse it. It's a quote from H.L. Mencken, and I will say that again at the end of the quote. But H.L. Mencken said this: every normal man must be tempted at times to spit on his hands, hoist up the black flag, or hoist the black flag, and begin slitting throats. That's a quote from H.L. Mencken. A little hyperbolic, of course, but I think his point is that governments are so bad that your normal person every now and then must say, why do we even have one? It doesn't mean that we support anarchy, but I got to tell you, there was a time when I said, a few years ago, I don't think that these ANCAPs have it right. I don't think it can work, but what the hell do we have?
Yeah, so apparently,
I get the point.
So apparently on The Independent, a preschool teacher was arrested on camera after criticizing Trump for recent attacks against Venezuela. Well, I mean, the right and the left have been hating on the First Amendment for a long time. Trump is now actually practically doing that, meaning he's applying hatred for the First Amendment and disregard for the First Amendment in real life and in real time. So, Michael, it may be pitchforks and torches and storming the Bastille sooner than we think. You sent me an article from Cato that I thought was very good about how prohibition increases violence. For all those people out there who are pro-drug war, and I can't imagine our audience is. By the way, folks, remember to like and subscribe to this station, please. I can't imagine most of our audience is pro-prohibition, but talk about what seems like common sense to me. Prohibition increases violence.
It does. I want to read some. I lost it now. I'm going to find it again, and I'm going to read some comments to you and I. It's on Facebook. To you and I talking about. Hold on. I really want to find this because I think it's important. Okay, you and I talking about Trump lying about it being fentanyl. This first guy. So it doesn't matter about cocaine deaths. We should allow that in, is what you were saying. Yes, is what I'm saying. That's number one. But number two, if it doesn't matter, then why lie about it?
Correct.
Why lie? If it doesn't matter, then why lie? And why are you defending a liar? That's the first thing. This other guy, so he says 22,000 deaths from cocaine in 2024. Now, what do you want to bet, Mark, out of hand, that 22,000 people did not die from cocaine overdoses alone?
I already know that's not the case.
Yes. What is the case, and I'm going to look it up in a second just to fact check this dum-dum, is there was cocaine in the system of people who overdosed on something else.
Likely fentanyl.
Yes. Now, of course, if the drugs were legal, which they should be, those overdoses would be way, way down.
But why, Michael? Why would those overdoses be way, way down?
Well, they would be way, way down because people would actually know what they were taking rather than going and buying it from some dude on the street like I used to do. You go and buy something from some guy you've never met. He doesn't know you. You don't know him. He probably doesn't know what's in the drug he's selling because he bought it from somebody else. You don't know. Even let's just say somebody goes to buy heroin, and let's just say it's good heroin. It's not cut with anything extra. It's not made toxic. He still doesn't know the dosage that he's taking, right? Then you throw in the fact that people are cutting this stuff with God knows what, with quinine, with fentanyl, because fentanyl is cheaper, and that causes overdose deaths. But the people, and this is the switch, right? Start off by saying they're bringing fentanyl. Fentanyl's killing 300,000 people a year, which is not that high. I don't believe it's that high, but let's just say it, for the sake of this, it is. You make that claim, and then when you get exposed for it not being fentanyl, they say, yeah, but they're bringing cocaine. What, isn't that bad? But that's not what you claimed.
Yeah.
But that's the level of dishonesty and evasion and equivocation that you deal with when you deal with these people. And these are the kind of people that bring us the kind of government that we currently have that goes back to rocks.
And you know what they also blank out, Michael, is they blank out that some of these drugs get scheduled. They get scheduled by the government and essentially banned. People are using them because they have unbearable pain in many cases. And because they get scheduled out of their use doesn't mean their pain goes away. So they're going to look to other places to try to relieve themselves of the pain that they experience. That means they turn to the black market and all those impure products that make them then susceptible to being victims in this problem. So look, it's caused by the government. The entire problem is caused by the government. You know how many people died of alcohol poisoning during Prohibition because the quality of the alcohol that people were, bathtub gin that people were creating to feed the demand was so much lower than the quality that we have today. So the solution is the same as it was in Prohibition in the 30s. The solution is the same for the Prohibition for drugs now. Legalize drugs. I know that's scary to you because you think people have they're automatons. They have no free will. They're not moral agents, and they're just going to be zombified. They're going to be taken over by a drug. The drug has all the control over them, but that's not the freaking case. But what you will get from users of the drug is a pure product that's controlled. They understand the dosage that they're getting, and the deaths from overdoses will fall off precipitously.
Okay, so yeah, so 22,174 people died in 2024 where cocaine was involved. Importantly, when the CDC reports drug overdose deaths involving cocaine, the counts include cases where cocaine was present alone or in combination with other drugs. Most cocaine involved overdose deaths also involved other drugs, especially synthetic opioids like fentanyl, which are often mixed into the cocaine supply.
So Gary says the little guys still largely can exercise free speech, but the big guys, such as Bezos, Musk, the New York Times, social media, Walmart, etc., get threatened or punished by the administration. That's an interesting point to make, and that's scary.
Yeah, I'm just, I can't, it's too much. I just wish people didn't have authority over us, because if these people are this dumb and it doesn't affect you, then who gives a damn? Right? I don't care. Be as stupid as you want. Go bump your head into a tree, or, play with your toes, whatever you people do when you don't have, brain matter. But the fact of the matter is they vote for people that get us into trouble. Thomas, what are you yelling bullshit about? What is my boss yelling bullshit about? I'm very curious.
I don't want to get in trouble with your boss, man.
Okay, can I now read? You're not going to get me in trouble with my boss. Okay, so yeah, this is what it says. Looking at CDC state unintentional drug overdose reporting systems data for January 2021 through June 2024, covering 49 states and DC, most stimulant overdose deaths also involve opioids. About 79.1% of cocaine involved overdose deaths co-involved in opioids such as fentanyl. Only a minority involved stimulants without opioids. About 14.5% of total stimulant overdose deaths had no opioid co-involvement. The cocaine or methamphetamine, so you're talking crystal meth as well.
There you go. So hopefully that straightened it out for that guy.
I'm going to post it to him, and I'm sure it won't, but I'll do it anyway because I got a hard head. But you were going to talk about the article, which I think is excellent.
Okay, so this is from Cato, folks. Since September 2025, the U.S. has carried out 5 lethal strikes on small boats off the coast of Venezuela, leaving 27 people dead. Now it's as high as, I think, 103 or 104.
Yeah, this is from October, the article.
Yeah, so it's nearly quintupled this amount. October 14th, even granting the government's account that these were drug traffickers and the strikes were effective interdictions, the policy question remains, does escalating force in prohibited markets reduce violence? And the short answer is, of course, no.
No.
Go ahead.
Oh, so Thomas, I think, doesn't like the idea of legalizing drugs. My boss here is wrong. He's a former police officer, but he's wrong about this badly. I still love him though, but he is wrong. And I made this point, by the way, that you're talking about right there last night, that when you have a situation where you put more and more stringent rules on drug dealing, what happens is the most brazen, the most ruthless are the ones who will still get involved. The more timid will either quit or get killed. So you have the most ruthless. Now, in a case, they have competition for drugs. Now, if you are running a liquor store and I come and rob your liquor store, you call the police. If you are selling drugs and I come and rob you, there's no police to go to. So you resort to your own violence. This is what the mafia does. The mafia provides police action for gangsters who can't go to the cops. So this type of behavior, the prohibition, just leads to more violence, not less. You want to know how many people die a year in the U.S. from excessive alcohol deaths?
Do tell.
178,000.
You never hear about it.
No.
and you never hear about it.
Nope.
I think there's a Thomas Sowell quote that sort of might work with your boss here in this case. I don't entirely agree with it, but in this case, I sort of understand it. Where he says there are no answers, there are only trade-offs. So in a case like this, yeah, there's going to be negative consequences for legalizing the drug trade, but there's also going to be far more beneficial results as well. So you have to understand it in terms of what are the trade-offs here. The trade-offs for prohibition are greater violence, rights violations on citizens. I mean, right now the government is empowered to take all of your assets if you have a forbidden, unlawful product in your house. They can take everything that you own and have worked for your entire life. That is horrible. They have the permission to break into your home in order to get that unauthorized piece of material. That is a violation of your rights. So you exchange those things for other things. Some of them, maybe greater addictions for some people, will not be palatable to you, but they are preferable to the rights violations that are going on presently. So maybe your boss, if your boss sees it in terms of, well, there are no answers, there are trade-offs, but the trade-offs are actually good in the sense that they're overall good. Maybe he can accept the fact that legalizing drugs would change the world from a more violent place to a less violent one, and we'll take that over what we have today.
Well, yeah, there's all types of dangerous products out there. I mean, alcohol, if you compare side by side the effects of alcohol and heroin, or alcohol and marijuana, or alcohol and virtually anything else, maybe not methamphetamines. I haven't done that, and crystal meth is pretty bad. But alcohol's bad. It's up there. The thing is, so when they had alcohol outlawed, what occurred? You had impurities in the alcohol, like you point out. You had gangsters killing each other. When they ended prohibition, what happened to the murder rate?
Plummeted.
So, but anyways, we're about out of time, and it is your turn to give the capitalist thought of the day today.
Well, look, folks, liberty is dangerous, and that's why people opt for security over liberty. But liberty is the only thing that will produce the kind of society that is overall benevolent and that produces innovation, change, and progress that will be good for your life in the long term. We want the kind of world where people are free to dispose of their property as they choose. The state's only purpose in this world is to protect you, to protect your free, rational action, to protect you against aggression, the aggression of people who want to take your stuff and redistribute it. So that's the kind of world that we think brings the most benevolence, folks, is a place that respects the sovereignty of each and every individual, where you are an end unto yourself. You are not the means to the ends of others. Go ahead, Michael.
The question for today?
Yep.
Should we do an entire show on the war on drugs? Please go to YouTube and answer this question. Should we do an entire show only on the war on drugs? Maybe we'll even get an expert on. Should we do that? Let us know. Go to YouTube and answer the question.
All right, so we'll see you here, same bat time, same bat channel tomorrow. You have 23 hours to check your premises, so please do that. If there's any statism and you get it out of you, become a rugged individualist. Embrace the frigidity of rugged individualism. Throw away the warmth of collectivism, and join us, folks, as the new frontier. The new frontier is a free America and a free individual. We'll see you here tomorrow, folks. Peace.